Ortiz,
You want to bring him in?
Are you there?
You want to bring it? Can we holler to him?
Do you want to look at his fucking ceiling?
No, he's
there
coming.
He is. Oh my god,
he's coming.
Oh, yeah.
let's bring him in.
There he is. Oh wait, where'd he go? Who keeps doing that to me? Don't touch any buttons. He's in.
I'm not touching buttons. Oh, okay.
No, not you, man. No, you're good. You're good.
What's up, fellas?
What
Are
up?
we all
What's
frozen?
up with you, man?
Say hi, dude. Happy New Year, Mr. Ortiz.
Happy New Year's. Or
Long
New
time no
Year's.
see.
I always say plural, New Year's.
All right,
Okay.
so here's the
It's just
rule.
a bad habit.
Here's the rule. You can say it on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day because Happy New Year's it refers to Eve or day. After that, it's Happy New Year.
I'm with you. There's a whole Curb Your Enthusiasm episode about this. It's hilarious.
It's a great episode.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
How did you celebrate your New Year's?
Oh man, I'm boring now. I'm an old man. I went to sleep before midnight. I woke up to a bunch of like missed phone calls and text messages. Yeah, me and my girl just fell asleep early, man. I'm living that boring dad life. Yeah.
I think we're all there. I'm not, except for handsome Kevin. Hey, let me ask you, Ortiz. You've been with us for a while. You've been a friend for a long time. We have KJG, the original Kevin, and then we have handsome Kevin. Does handsome Kevin's name live up to the nickname?
Let me get a side profile. I'll give it to him. It's a handsome fellow.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Appreciate
I'm
that.
all about lifting people up, man. I couldn't even say, even if you weren't handsome, there's no way I could admit it.
Bro, I'd blow your back out if you.
Makes
You'd have
me
a
a little
hernia if you
concerned.
tried to pick me up.
Not at
So
all.
it's been a long time since we last got you on the show. It was
A few years.
August 2009.
Okay. Oof.
And
What?
life.
Wait, 2009
life
or
is
19?
19. We have, Jesus.
Oh, I was about to say, geez. I
my
don't even think I
God.
was wrestling in 2009.
We didn't even have a show in
you.
2009. I don't know what the hell fantasy world Matt's living in.
Oh, you don't
Let me
wanna know
let me
the
spill the beans for Ortiz. Matt said if it was him and Bret Hart, the last two people on Earth, and in order to keep the human race alive, they would have to dock. Matt would not do it. Yay or nay? I mean,
What would I do?
no. Well, I mean, I told Matt he should have. I mean, I think all of us would agree that we would have to keep the race going, right?
Okay, yeah, for sure.
You'd have to. But Matt's the
Yeah.
only one that said, "Fuck all this, I'm out."
Man, I respect it, man. You got to stick to your guns no matter what. I mean,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
to know
and I
that
ain't
history ended like that.
because I wouldn't touch guns with the hitman. I'm okay with that.
Hey, if you want to be the best there ever was, there's only one way.
Do I get that moniker? Do I become the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be? Because then we can talk.
Definitely. I think that's a given, man.
yeah, you'd be responsible for the continuation of the human race. I mean, why
Legit.
wouldn't you be? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bret Hart has to give me that nickname. He has to say, "I am now Cowboy Bret Hart. You are the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be."
Okay. I think that's not a huge ask, man.
Well, then
You're saving the human race.
somebody at WWE has to go back and edit every single one of his interviews. All right, or I better be getting a fucking royalty check. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay. I respect it.
So 5 years since we last had you on the show, and we've run into you at shows and such. But it's nice to get you back on here. And a lot has changed in 5 years. The last time you were on the show, you were kind of in limbo. We didn't know where you're going from. You guys had just finished up an Impact. Eventually, obviously, AEW is a great score, and it's been kind of an interesting ride for you. What have you learned about yourself in that 5 years?
Ooh, what a good question. Definitely a lot, man. I mean, right now I'm not tag team wrestling, which is a new venture for me because I spent the majority of my career as a tag guy. So now I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of trying to find my voice. Like, I still don't know what the answer is, but it's almost exciting because I get like a new palette to paint with, and just figure it out. And I've changed so much just in the last 3 years, like mentally, that it's more exciting than it is depressing. Whereas I think if this would have happened about a year ago and I was going through different things in my life, I don't know if I'd be able to kick out of it. Like, it's just a new path that I have to go on, and I'm still trying to figure it out. But I just refound my purpose in wrestling. It almost became a job for a little while, and I started going through the motions. And it's almost like you take things for granted. I think that's with anything in life. When you do something for so long, you can almost take it for granted. And I look back, and I had great opportunities, great moments in wrestling. But man, if I had the mentality that I had now, I would have took so much more advantage of that. And that's kind of just where I'm playing with right now, like taking advantage of everything I get, no matter what it is, if it's small or big. I just don't want to look back and be like, man, I should have stepped it up a little harder in that moment and stuff like that. So I'm like, just ready to accept what's thrown at me and just go with the punches and then kind of get back to basics. I've become a nerd about training again and like really getting into the weeds of things. So that's kind of where I'm focused. And, being a dad and doing boring dad stuff like adulting, like paying my taxes, getting health insurance, shit like that.
What was the most difficult part about transitioning from you and Santana to finding your own voice and to finding your own creative outlets? What was the most difficult part? Was it the character development? Was it where do I go from here? Explain how that works.
Yeah, definitely. I'm still in that phase. I kind of want to change my whole like persona and aura. I've kind of been typecast into like the street brawler guy, which is fine. And it's very close to home, and I'm down to play that role. But I also just like I want to wrestle. I want to chain wrestle. I want to like go hold for hold. I want to do more lucha stuff. Like I've always prided myself in being like a hybrid wrestler, and I just kind of want to do more of that. And I feel like in the last couple of years, especially coming off of Impact, because like me and Santana did gimmick matches so well, street fights and barbed wire massacre and table matches, and we did well and excel in those matches. It was like a double-edged sword. We were kind of typecast into playing that role. Like we were in all the blood and guts and all the stadium stampedes. Well, except for one blood and guts. But yeah, it's just kind of like we kind of fell into playing that role. And I kind of just want to go back to like just wrestling, doing some cool stuff. Like my favorite type of wrestling is early 90s Michinoku Pro. So I want to do more stuff like that. I want to be in like dope multi-man matches. And I love tag team wrestling. And I want to continue tag team wrestling. But kind of now, it doesn't seem like it's in the cards for me. I mean, maybe I could push a little harder to do it. But I find myself on an island all by myself. And I'm just trying to find that voice. I feel like I have a opportunity. Instead of looking at like the cup half empty, I can look at it the cup half full, and I can take this opportunity to reinvent myself and kind of maybe a gimmick change. Like I don't know. I'm playing with stuff. I have a lot of ideas, a lot of stuff in the tank, and I'm kind of seeing where it goes. I don't want to like say one thing because honestly, I might wake up tomorrow and feel something else.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my wife to do that, but she hasn't yet, so we're good there. So we had you guys in studio when you were kind of in limbo.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have ever answered this. Was there anyone else courting you guys besides AEW?
Yeah. Impact definitely wanted to keep us. WWE was an option at that time. They really went back and forth with us, and they made our decision really hard. Like they made it very appealing to. We would have been going over for NXT, and they were just like making it very appealing, and it made it hard for us to actually choose AEW. But ultimately, we went with AEW just because the schedule was a huge factor. Being that we would just be at home more with our families and be able to raise our children and have more of a hand in that. And we were thinking best case scenario, let's say we bust our ass and we take off and we make it to the main roster in WWE, we'd probably never be home. So that was a huge factor. But yeah, WWE and Impact obviously wanted to keep us at the time. No other like international companies were really fishing for us.
So it's such an iconic moment in like the beginnings of AEW when you guys showed up with those with the president's masks on. And since it's been 5 years and that was after we had you on last, can you talk about what that moment with us to you meant, like doing that, like having that big reveal and having that roar of the crowd know exactly who the fuck you guys were?
Sick, man. I joked around with Santana, and I've said this on a few interviews before, but it's a good story. So that day, like, we were a secret. We were snuck in. We were like in our locker room. We shared a locker room at SCU, and SCU was the only guys that saw us there. But we were kind of like off in the back. Got snuck into the arena, and we were just sitting around all day, like anticipating. We had no phone service, so we couldn't really see what was going on with the show. So we were just kind of completely in the dark. And then we could kind of hear the crowd faintly from where we were at, and we were nervous and anxious, of course. So like we get set up, and we were underneath the ramp, and we were hiding underneath the ramp. And then there was like a little curtain that we could just go out and kind of be right on the floor and be right in the ring. So right before we went on, we have the president mask, so we can't really see shit. It's really dark under there. But I joke around with Santana. I'm like, no one's going to pop. And we're just going to take off our masks, and everyone's going to just like crickets. No one's going to care, right? And I legitimately was like, we're probably not going to get the reaction that like a huge ovation. But man, I'm happy I was wrong. Like that ovation that we got was insane. That was one of my, if not top moment in wrestling, in the top 3 moments that I've ever had. Like, man, I've been trying to chase that drug, that pop, ever since we got it. I've been trying to get that back. It's like chasing the dragon. It was really awesome, but we legitimately thought no one was going to care. You know what I mean? Because like you hear rumblings on the internet, but you don't know how that carries over into like a live crowd and people, because the internet is such a small community compared to like the casual viewer that comes to the show. And it just seemed like in that moment, everyone in that crowd knew who we were, and it was really cool. Awesome moment.
You mentioned the internet and the fans. There was a big swell for the internet wrestling community about Proud and Powerful. We, and I will say we, because I was rooting. We felt like they fucking dropped the ball with not giving you guys a tag title run. You guys, it's like when you guys show up in AEW, it's the Young Bucks, it's the Lucha Brothers, it's EYFBO. Like those are the best tag teams in the world, and for us, and we're on the other side, we're just fans, but for us to see you guys not used to your full potential, it was frustrating for us when you see such a tag division like that, and we felt like you guys, I hate to use the term because it pisses Tony off, should have got your flowers at some point. Did you guys hear the rumbling from the internet wrestling community about that?
Definitely. It was hard to ignore, because I still get tagged and stuff to this day. Like, I'll randomly open on my Twitter, and I've been less and less on social media, like by design, just so like I think anything, whether it's bad or good, is just like too much of it is not good for you on either end. And I just kind of like because it can affect you. I know some people say they'll read stuff and it doesn't affect you, but if you read someone really hate your guts, it's gonna like, you're gonna think about it even for a second, unless you're that type of human being that you can read something and it kind of rolls off your shoulders. So I tend to avoid it at times, but that stuff is almost hard to avoid because we're constantly tagged and stuff about that. To answer your question on how I felt about it, I think we could have forced a hand a little bit more when we did have the opportunities that we had. And I can't completely blame the company because, I mean, there was talks about it, but it was almost like it was never the right time, right? It just wasn't our time. And it was just kind of because we were always intertwined with like a huge storyline with the Inner Circle, and kind of like it would have been hard to like sway off and kind of go do our own tag thing and go after the tag titles. So, I mean, it actually was supposed to happen more than once. But just due to stuff out of our control or out of my control, it just never seemed to pan out. It's not like those people on the internet that were clamoring for us to be tag team champions. Like, it was noticed by the people in AEW and above, and it almost happened 2 times. It just never panned out. I won't get into the weeds of things, only because I think I'll get in trouble if I do. So
we don't want you to get in trouble.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. It was supposed to happen, it just never did, unfortunately.
So
and now, yeah.
No, so here's another question that
Mhm.
may get you into trouble, but might not. I don't think it will.
Go
So
for it. I'll redirect, or I just won't answer.
just
Go
kind
for
of
it.
going on like the other end of the spectrum. When Santana comes back, you guys split.
Mhm.
Right? So how did you feel that whole scenario went? The split, how they worked it, like how were you satisfied with any sort of like blow off that they may have given you? Like what was your reaction to the split?
I mean, unfortunately, like it wasn't the company's call to split us. Me and Santana just couldn't get it together personally, and he just was very adamant about not working with me anymore for whatever reason. So, I mean, the company kind of had no choice but to split us up, right? So they were like, okay, you're just not going to just not tag. It doesn't make any sense. Like, let's at least make this make sense. Why you split? But even when we did it on TV, it just ended up, I feel like, being kind of rushed and like, you know what I mean? Let's get to the point already.
Yeah.
Due to stuff that was going on backstage, and it was just making it hard to like really put forward a program. And then just our television in general will kind of has that feeling all over on all our shows. There's almost that sense of rushing at times. Some stuff kind of sits and settles, but you could kind of see what they're putting their effort into, like the stuff that really gets time to settle and really get to cook. Whereas some other segments, due to time constraints, you just kind of have to make those segments go faster and faster. And there were supposed to be more development between me and him. It just, again, things out of my control. It just never panned out the way it was. Like, it was set out to be like a couple of weeks program throughout all our television, like Collision, Dynamite, and Rampage. And then we just kind of just went to Rampage, and then we stood there, and yeah, it just kind of played out how it played out, unfortunately.
And it's a shame because those vignettes you guys were doing, those videos to set it up, were awesome. It had such a it gave it such and you know, you got to blend reality with wrestling. There was that personal feeling there, but it made it that much more interesting and exciting. And it's unfortunate that it kind of ended up rushed for you. Talking personal feelings and such, the success of Eddie Kingston, you guys go way, way, way back. He's constantly calling you monkey, and we know, you know, anyone from the tri-state area knows of your relationship with Eddie. How happy does it make you first to see the success, and then, you know, it's like you've known for years this is what Eddie Kingston was capable. How happy are you to see him get his comeuppance? I'm not going to say roses, Tony.
His flowers. Man, it's dope, man. It's just like everyone that knew Eddie, or if you've seen Eddie on the independents, and just any wrestlers that's ever started a locker room with him and just seen him do a promo and just seen him have one of those matches, like, we all knew like who he was, and just the rest of the world needed to be exposed to that. You know what I mean? I've said it to him. He doesn't like the reference, but he's almost like our generation's Dusty Rhodes. He's the everyday guy, you know what I mean? Like, he's the blue collar guy, and he's legit that guy. And it's just, his promos make you believe, no matter what. Like, it just, you know, it's coming from places real. And then just him being my friend, on top of me actually just being a fan of his work, it was really awesome, man. I was watching at home because sadly I wasn't at the pay-per-view, but I was watching on my cell phone because I couldn't mirror it onto my TV. I was like, I really feel like a dad, like an old dad. I couldn't get the technology to work. I'm pissed off, wanting to break my phone. So, and then I couldn't even get the phone to like go from horizontal to vertical. You know what I mean? So I'm like pissed off that this wasn't working, right? And it kept connecting to my TV, but it was like it kept buffering. So, anyways, I got to watch him win the Intercontinental Classic on a really like 2-inch screen, but it was really cool. It was dope, man. I love it. I just loved like every time. I remember to go off on a quick side story, just to give you a little bit more to your answer, to me answering your question. I remember when he wrestled Miro. I forgot what pay-per-view it was. He wrestled Miro for the TNT title. I think they opened up one of the pay-per-views, or maybe I'm thinking of something else, but it was maybe 2 years ago. Yeah. But being in the crowd, like being on the floor, TV doesn't like really show the energy of a live audience. Like, the difference between watching wrestling on the television screen and watching it in the crowd, and just being on that floor and Eddie coming out and it just other than Eddie Guerrero, when have you ever heard Eddie chants like that, right? Eddie Guerrero was like the first, and Eddie Kingston is now gets the Eddie chants. And it's just crazy hearing that echo through a huge arena in front of like 10, 15,000 people. I mean, it was sick, but one of the coolest moments I remember was Miro had him in the camel clutch, whatever he calls his camel clutch. And then he went over and got a rope break, and the crowd went insane. And I was like, wow, this is pro wrestling, man. Like, the crowd was so invested that they gave him an insane reaction to just get a rope break. And me and Bryce Rensburg, which Bryce Rensburg has known Eddie even longer than me because he started training with him in Jakar, we had tears in our eyes. Like, our boy, like, look at what's happening right now. It was such a feel-good moment, man. Like, I anytime like I'm dealing with stress or stuff like that, I think about times like that in wrestling, and I'm like, oh, this is all worth it, man. All the bullshit backstage politics, all the whatever drama's going on. When wrestling is like that, it's perfect, man. It's untouchable. Like, yeah. Sorry to go off on a rant, but yeah, it was really awesome to answer your question. Eddie's my boy, man.
Did you so you mentioned Michinoku Pro in the early 90s. Did you ever see yourself standing across the ring from Jun Akiyami?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Not in a million years did I ever think about it. It never crossed my mind. And it was really cool.
Is that like a holy shit, I got to pinch myself moment?
Legit. I've been living off that moment for the last year, because that's like the biggest thing I've had in the last year. You know what I mean? Like, to me, in my eyes, I've had other cool matches, and then I did Wembley, which was amazing, being in front of that crowd of people. But yeah, Jun Akiyama all day. That was really cool being in the ring with him. Like, the wrestling nerd in me, that was probably the biggest moment I've had in the last 2 years.
I've asked guys before, but I'm sure Akiyami speaks pretty broken. He probably speaks English enough to get through a match. Is there a language barrier there? And how difficult does it make life for you guys?
Not difficult at all. I've worked guys from different backgrounds, Japanese. I mean, I understand Spanish, but like luchadors, even like French wrestlers.
French?
Wrestling is yeah. In Canada, French Canadian. I don't know if you can consider them French, but barely spoken. Oui. But barely spoke any English, like, very broken English, very French Canadian sounding. Yeah, I mean, wrestling is a universal language. And to answer your question, Akiyama is just like, stay. Like, don't move. That was it. It was just like, stay still. Okay, gotcha. And then I kind of saw what was coming, you know what I mean? And just opened up and just trusted him to do his thing. With people like that, it's just like you just trust them, and you just like, just stay loose is the best way I can put it. Yeah.
So you're now doing a little bit of an independent run by yourself, and you are not shying away from competition. I know last month you did the mystery wrestling with Mike Bailey and Trent Seven and Matthew St.
That was cool.
And you and Brian Keith at the Revolver season finale, you are getting in there with some of the best on the independent circuit. Is that you kind of testing yourself?
100%. It's by design. Like, I'm just trying to wrestle as much as possible, and I'm not a very athletic person. Anything athletic that I could do in the ring, done like 1,000 times, right? So I just, like, if I don't wrestle in a while, I almost feel like I have two left feet. Like, it doesn't feel right. So I thought to myself, okay, like, if because AEW allows us to do independence, I was like, I'm just going to do as much as I can. You know what I mean? And still, wrestle on TV, do my thing. But I just want to wrestle while my body can still take it, man. Like, I'm almost 40. I'm 3 years away. My goal is to make it to 20 years. And then after that, I'm definitely going to start dialing back wrestling. I'm not going to say I'm going to hang up the boots forever, but definitely slowing down at my 20-year mark. And I'm at 13, 14 years now. So I got another 6 years to wrestle on a high level. People like Jericho and Sting have given me hope that I could keep wrestling into my 60s. But I don't know if I'm just going to still want to. So we'll see what happens. But yes, by design, I'm trying to wrestle literally the best of the best on the independents, signed talent, not signed talent, whatever it is, and just challenge myself and get uncomfortable, because not doing tag team wrestling is very uncomfortable for me. But I've enjoyed the challenge.
So let me ask you, second to Jun Akiyama, in your life, did you ever think you would have your own action figure?
No, that's another one. Nah. Like, I had a lot of faith that I was going to make it to some kind of television, to wrestle on television professionally and make money and be able to support myself doing it. Like, that was the only faith that I had, that I felt like I had enough talent to get signed to a major company. After that, my dreaming ended. So I didn't think I was going to get a figure or be in a video game, which I'm yet to be in, but we'll see. Maybe I'm on one of the DLCs for AEW.
You're good. You're good, bro. Don't worry. Look, I fucking
video games get so much hate.
the gameplay is awesome. It plays like a THQ game.
Yeah,
that's it. The fucking stories suck. They suck. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to get you in trouble. The storyline mode sucks. I don't want to work out. I don't want to see the Statue of Liberty. I want to fucking wrestle, and I don't want to lose my luggage. And then I have mean Mark Calloway telling me he hid my fucking luggage from me. All right, fucking A.
Hey, I'm gonna be a good company man. The video game may not be for everybody, but it has its perks. It has its upside. Just take it for a video game. Just get a couple of friends. You have 3 other friends, and you just play online. There you go.
These guys aren't my friends. Don't be so. Do you hear
don't like you either, pal?
When I'm not here, they shit. Tony shit talks me the most out of everybody. If anyone's my friend, it's KJG.
You wouldn't dock with Bret Hart to save the world, you chode.
What the fuck did I do?
Yeah, what did he do?
You're monkey see, monkey do with this asshole over here, Tony. Tony and Handsome Kevin, like fucking perfect strangers. Let's make fun of Matt. You just chuckle and laugh and vape, you fucking hand jobs.
So he's calling me an asshole, then he wonders why I talk shit about him when he's not here.
I'd say, if anything, you're their favorite person, because they talk about you all the time. They make fun of you. I think that's enduring.
Might be a stretch.
Oh. Yeah, you want us to give you your flowers, you asshead?
I mean, I like them.
See, KJG's my guy.
I mean, am I wrong? Flowers is such a stupid thing. Like, why can't you just say props like a normal human being? Like, give him credit. Give him his, like...
Because
props
nothing's
recently a thing. Isn't that like recently a thing? Flowers, calling it flowers. For me, it was always props.
Yeah, one asshole said flowers, and now everybody's saying flowers.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. We're not in Japan. We're not Yokozuna on fucking Monday Night Raw. We don't get flowers.
You know how dumb white people sound when they say props? Let me give you your props, dude.
You know how stupid everyone sounds when they say get your flowers?
Wait.
You know who gets flowers? Your girl when you pick her up for a date. She gets flowers. You get props if you deserve it. And I don't think you deserve it, asshole. Sorry, Ortiz. I needed to get that out.
Not your good.
You know what? We're gonna go full circle back to the beginning of the show. You don't have to answer this, Ortiz, if you don't want to, but we had a conversation earlier in the night.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you, if your significant other came to you with the suggestion of a foot job, is that something you would be into?
Like, she proposed it to me?
Yeah, and she was like, I want to use my feet to give you...
Huh.
Cranky Yankee.
Now
I
we're,
mean-
we're assuming they're nice looking feet. Like you wouldn't want like
No, you don't.
callus, corns, bunions.
You take it. You take it. However it is. If your girl's got ugly feet, then you're fucked, bro.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm trying to picture her feet. Give me a second.
It's fair. My wife's gonna hear this and she's gonna come up here. She's tried. She's been like, "How about a foot job?" And I'm like, "Get it." And she might say it jokingly, but I want no part of it. No part of a foot job.
I mean, maybe at least once. Just I'd be down for at least once. Just kind of just yeah.
Give it a go. Why not?
Unbelievable.
I mean, you never know. Yeah. You never know what you're gonna like or not like until you try it. Like I tell my son all the time, like he'll not want to try new food, and I'm like, listen, you gotta at least try it, and then you can tell me you don't like it, and then we're good.
Yep.
So that's my rule. And if I'm going to be a good father and a good leader, I have to lead by example. So if my wife came in and offered me a foot job, I would have to at least try it and say I don't like it.
I know I don't like sticking Legos up my nose. It doesn't mean I'm gonna stick fucking Legos up my nose, guys. Come on.
Hey, I don't yuck anyone's muck, man. I'm like Planet Fitness, no judgment zone. Whatever. my only ask as long as it's two consenting adults, it's all on the up and up. Whatever it is.
All right. Who consented to you wearing that goofy hat and that outfit on AEW?
Man, I've gotten so much shit for wearing those hats. Like by Eddie Kingston himself. Imagine showing up to work with those hats on and thinking Eddie's not going to comment on anything. He's as loud as he is on television as he's backstage. If not, he's louder backstage. I just kind of was just throwing stuff to the wall to see what works. You know what I mean? Throw on some cool looking hats. Not everyone thinks they're cool, apparently, but that's okay.
I mean, I would never. I mean, look, you are in like peak human being shape. You're fucking shredded, bro. But the hats, I don't like.
They facilitate a conversation. That's all. Either you're going to be like, look at this jerk off with this hat, or they're going to be like, oh, I kind of like the hat.
Yeah, new paint, coat of paint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I almost did the fucking Bruce Pritchard
paint a coat.
I mean, so you're sharing your own. People are making Mambo number 5 memes about you, and you're sharing it on your social media.
Yeah, that's a win-win. That kind of went a little viral for me. That they got a lot of views. So
yeah,
I liked it.
All right. I don't know. I could never pull off a hat like that.
And
then you went with the fedora.
You never know until you try. Have you ever tried it? It's just like the foot job, man.
Look at me.
Yeah, dude.
Look at me. Nothing can fix this. I'm a fucking wreck. I know it. I'm not going to put on a hat to
maybe like one of those old school, like, the Pennywise hats. One of the, I forget what they're called, like derby hats.
Yeah,
derby.
Bowler, if you will.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Kate, who joined us earlier in the chat, said better. She thinks the hat was better than Jake Hager's. Do you think your hat were better than Jake Hager's?
Oh, legit. He just had a bucket hat, which I already wore to TV a couple of times. Just never wore it on television. So if anything, Jake Hager was stealing my shit, man.
Yeah.
But he owned that purple bucket hat. He really did. It started getting over with the crowd. So kudos to him.
I agree. Couldn't agree more.
I'm on the fence about this hat situation.
Yeah, anything else you want to insult our guest about? Jesus.
I'm not insult. What do you want? First of all, Tony, all right, back up I'm not insulting him. We're having a conversation, all right? I'm an adult. He's an
you don't
adult.
like foot jobs. You don't like his hats.
I'm not going to lie to the guy. I didn't have Slice Boogie on the show and not ask him about his tights that I complained about for 6 months. Oh, no, that was you, Tony. Sorry.
Well, I didn't want to upset the man. He was nice enough to come on the show with us, but
you can ask him and not upset him, and then, you said Trevor Murdoch.
No, you said Trevor Murdoch ate his boogers, and then you fucking threw me under the bus. You told him I said it. The fucking NWA World's Champion, and he's like, Tony said you look like you eat your boogers. Do you eat your boogers?
Oh, man.
All right, so getting back to wrestling.
Wait.
Kate again,
there you
Kate
go.
again said, I have now sold myself on the Mark Briscoe and Ortiz tag team I pitched earlier. Any thoughts about maybe you and Mark Briscoe working together? That would be very interesting.
Oh man, that would be amazing. But Mark is not tagging anymore, man. He's put up those boots as far as anything. He just refuses to have any other tag partner. Maybe that'll change, but that's his feelings. And of course, who could replace his brother? Man, but that would be a dream come true. It's awesome. Briscoes is my favorite tag team, man. I've said it multiple times. I'll say it again. Like they were my favorite tag team to watch, just because they wrestle on such a high level for so long, and that was proven when they went against FTR and they had those matches with them. Like they've been wrestling on that level for such a long time. Like my body's falling apart now. I just can only imagine. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mark taking that wild. He took when they had the dog collar match and he took the bump off the top of the top rope to the floor onto chairs. I was just like, oh my God. I took a suplex in the Santana match and my lower back was killing me for months, just off the apron. And my man took it off the top rope to the floor and it walks around and is the happiest human being ever. Mark is a different breed of animal. Both of those men are dope.
Did you guys never got to wrestle them, did you?
One time in Germany, we wrestled them. We did a WXW's tag league in 2017, 2018, maybe 2017. But we wrestled them in night 2 of the tag league, I believe. So yeah, we got to touch them one time, man. It was awesome. It was really cool. But we specifically dialed back that match just because we were one of the first matches on the tournament, and WXW runs their company very professionally, like a television product. So they had agents, and the only thing that the agent came to us was just like, please don't go too crazy. You know what I mean? Because you guys are opening up the card and we have so many matches. So we were specifically asked to dial back the match and not have like a crazy PWG, wild one. But for what we did in the ring with them, it was awesome. Like we felt the chemistry and wanted to wrestle them again, but unfortunately it never happened.
That's a hell of a tag league right there, that run. You guys wrestled Francis Caspin and Jay Skillett. You wrestled the Rottweilers, Homicide and Low Key, and Thatcher and Walter. Wow. Holy shit.
That was a sick tag league, man. One of my favorite tours we ever did.
I could also see you getting into a singles program with Mark Briscoe for some reason.
That'd be sick, man. Yeah. That'd be sick. I wouldn't mind getting my ass whooped by him.
Monkey versus chicken. Let's do it.
There you go. And right yourself.
Fucking hey, you never got to work in Japan, did you?
No, man, not yet. I'm working on it. That's a huge goal of mine for this year coming up.
Oh, nice.
At least go train over there. That's the goal. At least go train at the dojo, something, anything. I went on vacation last year and I love Japan. I've always wanted to go, but I always wanted my first time to be just like not wrestling, because I just almost wanted to take it in and not have the pressure of feeling like I have to be on my A game at all times. So I went and got it out of my system. Now I can't wait to go back for wrestling. That's
did
it'll
you
happen.
Did you eat the raw horse?
No, I didn't know that was an option. I didn't hear about the raw horse.
Lance Archer came on the show and he raves about it. He says anytime he's in Japan, he eats the raw horse. And I've asked other guys that have been to Japan. A lot of guys are big fans of it.
Okay. I promise I will try. So next time I'm on the show, I'll let you know how the raw horse was.
See that? There's going to be a next time, you fucking losers. How do you like them apples? He doesn't hate me. Stop sending me text messages saying he hates me.
Not at all. I'd rather you be honest and shit all over me than lie to me.
You got to pay extra for that.
Ooh, okay.
We got to do it in Germany.
Now I know your kink. You don't like feet.
No.
But you like when people talk down to you. Okay. Or you talk down to people. Maybe that's what it is.
I don't want to talk to anybody. So you say you want to get to Japan in 2024. What else is on the Ortiz bucket list for 2024?
Man, just wrestle as much as possible, get out my comfort zone, start doing some cooler shit in the ring. You know what I mean? Like try some high flying moves. And that's pretty much it. Just grow as a performer, man. whether it is tagging with someone else, being in a trios, or just being on myself, just like challenge myself and just keep pushing forward, man. That's it. And just grow, get better. That's it. I just want people to be like, oh, whoa, where's this guy been? That's kind of all I'm aiming for.
Is there somebody who's? Oh, sorry, handsome Kevin, you haven't said a word. So
No, I was just gonna say every year, when you turn the calendar over, you see so many wrestlers out there that put out their lists, right? These are the names I want list. Do you have an idea of guys that you want? Do you have a list? Do you have a list of guys that you want to go through?
Not a specific list, man. I just want to do it more. I just need the reps. That's all it is. And I think as I do it more, then when I become more confident in my skill, then I think I would aspire to have a list. I almost feel like I'm not worthy enough right now because I'm still finding myself. I'm in a very weird spot when it comes to wrestling. Like in the ring, I just haven't. I've been feeling very uncomfortable, and I know the only way to get that out is just wrestle. And that's the only goal in the beginning of the year. And like I said, like maybe tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I want to wrestle this guy. Of course, there's people I want to be in the ring with. Definitely Motor City Machine Guns, man. Like, but I want to do that on a tag teams level. But even if I were to wrestle each man individually, it would be really sick. If I have any list, it would be those two men. Just because I wanted to wrestle them as a tag team. That was me and Santana's like number one team that we really never got to work.
So let me kind of flip the switch on Handsome Kevin's question. Is there a list of people that you would choose if you were to form a new tag team?
Eddie Kingston definitely will be up there. One of them. We definitely did do it for a while, but he got hurt. I think that's when he got his hernia. And he was out for a little while. So we were tagging, and that's when we had the Akiyama match, the June match. And we were tagging, and it looked like we were kind of going to be a tag team. But then he came back, he did the G1, and then he did the tournament, and he kind of went off to his own path. So I maybe revisit that this year. We'll see what happens. But if I say the first person will probably be Eddie Kingston, who after that, I don't know. But that's me biasly answering that just because it was already kind of a thing. And I feel like we were really getting into like a groove. It just got cut short. Yeah.
Last week we talked about finishers for a little bit. And now that you're on, I would love to ask you, what is the worst finisher out there?
Like, I feel like it's a loaded question.
No, not at all.
As far as taking it, or just like it's a shit finish. It's just like
it's a shit finish. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now let me shit on someone's finish. Let me see.
Well, it doesn't have to be a current wrestler. Like, Tony was very adamant about the Bushwhackers battering ram.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's
right.
Okay.
I was not here last week. I didn't get to chime in. I think the heart punch is fucking stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, but the heart punch is believable. Like you can believe that somebody could punch you so hard in the chest that it stops your heart. You know.
I mean, yeah. The Bushwhackers might be up there. Wow.
It's a tough one to beat.
Yeah. Oh.
How about this one? And I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for this one.
Oh no.
But as nostalgic and as awesome as it was, what was the big deal with the Perfect Plex?
I mean, he did it to Andre though. Oh no, not Andre. He did it to Big Show.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he did that WCW one. That was sick. That looked
cool.
wild.
But like,
I thought you were going to say Judas Effect for a minute. Sorry, I had to.
I think it's on who's taking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's on who's taking it as far as the Judas Effect, because certain people make it look like death. You know what I mean? So I you know.
Well, you have to. I mean, you gotta if you're gonna take it, right?
James on YouTube said YouTube, easy for me to say, says the Nasty Boys pit stop.
That wasn't their finish though.
Yeah, that was more like a setup move.
There was like a power slam to an elbow. That was their finish.
Hmm.
I also think the Big Show, when he used the fist, isn't that an illegal maneuver?
So
I mean,
the
technically,
Superman
right?
punch, but you know.
Yeah, but
That's
I
fair.
guess that wouldn't be illegal anymore because no one really argues about a closed fist anymore. I'm
don't.
not so much in WWE either, right? At least
No,
one
'cause
from what I've seen recently.
I mean,
Yeah,
Roman uses
Roman,
it all the
exactly.
time. Yeah.
Exactly. That would be disqualification. So I feel like that's kind of like a rule that kind of just went away in wrestling, the closed fist. It's just one of those things.
What are your thoughts on the Garvin Stomp?
I'm trying to think about it. What's the Garvin Stomp?
You
Give it
literally
to
just
me.
walk around your opponent and stomp on every body part.
Yeah, but again, Tony, that wasn't his finish.
Well, kind of like what Randy Orton does. Just stomp the person in every way.
Yeah, Orton does that. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was a finish.
No, it wasn't. He used the figure 4, but Tony.
He used
Tony likes
he
to
used the
reinvent
figure
history.
4 when he was feuding with Greg Valentine
Okay.
and Ric Flair.
Oh no, you're wrong.
Yeah, man. I honestly,
Look, I'm trying to figure out something that beats the battering ram. I don't think anything beats it.
no, I don't think anything beats a battery ring. I'm really trying to think. Like, even you can argue the stomp and then into the figure 4, yeah. Or even if he just stomps them, at least he's kicking the guy.
What about the airplane spin?
I mean, that shit sucks, man. Getting spun around. That'll legit take you out, bro. That just sucks. That's a shoot finish, bro.
What about
But it's like dizzy bat. Like you got to make your way over to your opponent once you put him down too, you know? It
Sure,
sucks.
yeah. But I guess if you're the guy doing it consistently, you're at least gonna like work up a little tolerance to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Claudio, like, I don't know how he spins people 100 times and then continues with the match. It's unreal.
But he's on a different level, that guy. He's a fucking maniac.
One of the things that I don't want to ever take. Like, I'm so happy I haven't wrestled against Claudio. Like, I do not want to take the spin, bro. Like, I've hate spinning since I was a kid. So I would instantly throw up.
He fucking spun Kali around like 20 times, didn't he?
Yeah. That's wild. That's what I'm saying.
Didn't Kali just use a chop to the head? That's a terrible finisher.
Well, there you go. There we go.
That might be worse than the battering ram, but that's a strike though. Like,
What's the dude that used to?
guys.
What's the dude that used to take your underwear from you for like a hot
That was
minute?
one match, dude, and I don't think he used stealing underwear as a finish.
It's Phantasmo.
Yes,
There you go,
Phantasmo.
Kali's chop, the Kali chop might be a shit finish. Even though, I mean, you could also argue, right? You could like crack fucking coconuts open like that. You could crack someone's head open.
So it's a
So
better
there's an
finish in the
argument there, right?
it's a better finish in the battering ram.
Yeah, it might be. It might be the shittiest finish. After you said it, I can't escape it from my head. I can't think of another like
rough. So, Eric Freed says The Big Wiggle by Norman Smiley.
You guys, I don't understand what your guys' problem is. You guys are naming moves that aren't finishes.
Yeah, that's not a finish. I don't think.
No.
And
What
it's
was
pissing me
Norman
off.
Smiley's finish?
Remember the chicken wing.
Oh yeah.
And Kali's finish wasn't a chop either. It was a two-handed chokeslam which was also terrible. So that could still be in the conversation.
Oh, he did a boulder bomb?
No, he did
Like
like
the
two
choke
and then
bomb?
just dropped them like a jackknife.
Oh, okay, you didn't sit out with it. I got you. Yeah.
Yes, James. The Worm is a finish. The Worm is pretty shitty.
That's
Ooh.
yes, that's a good one.
Yeah,
That
but
is
that's
a good
also
one.
a chop.
Yeah. Super over. It's super over. I pop every time I see it, but like as far as a finish, right? He actually just recently finished, I think it was Daddy Magic, whoever he did it to in the ring recently.
Yeah.
He
just came back and
it was a
did it,
dark
yeah.
match, right, for Dynamite?
Yeah. And he just won with it. Yeah. So, man. I don't know if that's shittier than the Bushwhackers.
Oh,
I think the Bushwhackers got it, man.
yeah, I mean, I can't argue that. That's good.
If while I go down the rabbit hole of wrestling, if I find one, I'll tweet you guys.
That'd be
please do.
awesome.
I'll
Dude,
revisit this.
What are you watching now? What is tickling your fancy? Where you find yourself?
A lot of older stuff, like the early '90s Michinoku Pro stuff. Very early, like Taka went on a run. Taka Michinoku went on a run of like wrestling every guy that was trying to get a job in WWF, like on Shotgun. He wrestled Christopher Daniels one time. Tajiri's like debut match in WWE. He had bangers with S.A. Rios. So I've been like watching a lot of those matches, like Cruiserweight WWF, WCW Cruiserweight matches. All Japan Women. I've been going down a rabbit hole because All Japan Women are just, man, they were just a special breed of wrestlers. They would go harder than the dudes at times, like just wrecking each other. And I'm like, how these women walking? I remember seeing Aja Khan because she came to AEW a couple of times. And I was just like, very few people I get starstruck from, but because I came up watching so much of her stuff, when I finally got to introduce myself, I was very starstruck. But like, she has that grizzled vet walk, you know what I mean? She's just like wobbling like a penguin. And I was just like, the fact that she could still walk is amazing to me. She took some of the gnarliest bumps in the ring over years and years. Her and Toyota, oh my God. But yeah, just watching old stuff.
There's a doc that goes around. I'm sure you can find that on YouTube where like the women are training to get into pro wrestling in Japan. And they were beating the shit out of these girls, telling them, "Don't come back, you suck." The one girl got fucked up. Like, she was fucking something up, and the trainer shot her off and just drop kicked her head off. Like, and she came up and she was busted open everywhere.
Yeah, her face was busted open. I've seen the clip of that of the drop kick, not the whole documentary though.
Oh, it's out there. It's insane what they were doing to get these women ready for this shit, man. It was absolutely nuts.
It makes sense. Nuts. Yeah, go watch All Japan Women. It makes all the sense in the world because that's what they were doing in the matches. Yep. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'll go back into like YouTube. You'll find gems of like old TV tapings with the commercials and stuff like that from the 80s and the 90s, and I love watching those. I have no idea what they're saying, but I'll watch the whole thing. It's great.
If you really want to step up your game, and I'm not even joking when I say this, you got to check out WoW. It's on in syndication. It's on right now.
Okay.
I know the dude above me fucking hates it.
It's fucking
bro.
horrible.
It'll take you back to like watching like Glow and shit from when like when I was younger at least. And the wrestling's not the greatest, but my God, for soap opera shit with these girls on the mic talking shit to each other, it's a guilty pleasure, man. It's fucking good.
You like the presentation more so than the actual wrestling you're saying.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like a lot of the wrestling's like they'll have names. Like you'll watch it and you'll recognize a few of the ladies that are there. But by and large, it's just some women that just want to be famous, man, and they want to wrestle. And it's charming. And if you accept it for what it is, it's actually it's pretty good. Cool. I know handsome Kevin just absolutely fucking hates it.
It's as charming as a fucking paper cut on your sack.
Oh, what a metaphor.
I made it. I think I made it 20 minutes. The promos were shit. The match, I had and I almost wanted to keep watching it just to more ammunition to combat Tony with his shit. But no, you get more enjoyment out of watching the Glow Netflix series than you will watching WoW.
Hey, that was an amazing series. How dare you talk shit about that?
Yeah. I'm sad they canceled it, man.
Yeah, I'm pissed off we never got the final season.
Yeah. Agreed.
Some bullshit, man. I wanted to see fucking Stoya. What was it? Yeah. What was it? Stoya the Destroyer, whatever the fuck her name was?
Stoya the Destroyer, yeah. Such a great name.
I wanted to see her get together with fucking, what's his name? Mark Madden? Not Mark Madden. What the
No.
Mark Maron.
Mark Maron.
Yeah, Mark Maron, yeah.
Chavo Guerrero was involved in that show too.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Chavo. It's the man.
Fuck yeah.
He's the man, really. Does anyone on the panel want to say anything about Chavo Guerrero?
Go ahead.
Handsome Kevin.
I'm friends with him, so be careful.
I've only had the opportunity to meet him once. I worked a card with him, and he was delightful.
There you go.
KJG, your thoughts?
Oh, Chavo's a stink. Most underrated Guerrero that has ever
Wow.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I
Holy
agree.
shit.
I agree with everything.
Interesting. Very
Oh my
interesting.
God.
Ortiz, this has been an absolute blast and a pleasure.
Fucking amazing,
We're so happy
dude.
that we made this happen, and you took time out of your busy schedule of being dad and wrestler and all that jazz to jump in and fuck around with us for some time. So we greatly appreciate it, man.
Yep, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for asking me. It only took like ages, but I finally got on. And yeah, man, it's always a pleasure jumping on with you guys and just having a few laughs, talking wrestling, all that good stuff.
I don't know with all these big companies and how what kind of hoops I got to jump through to get somebody who's been on the show back on the show before. I hate Impact's PR guy. You know who?
Oh,
it is?
yeah.
I fucking hate him. He's the only person who ever sat in on an interview because he wanted to make sure we wouldn't ask the guest Donald Trump questions because that's the type of podcast we are.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I didn't know you guys got down with D Trizzle like that. That's cool.
Either did I. It's news to me, but
Oh yeah, what?
Man, again, I'm like Planet Fitness, no judgment zone, man. It's fine. It's okay.
And listen, man, I know Matt says it to you all the time. You got fucking open invitation, brother. Anytime you want to come on, shoot the shit. You want to come back next week? Come back next week. We'll do it again.
Hell yeah. I
We
need
love
to
having you
figure
on,
out.
man.
I need to figure out what's the worst finish now. Now I'm kind of intrigued
Please do.
because I was drawing a blank, and but I'm gonna find. Maybe I can find a worse one than the Bushwhackers.
There you go.
I have faith. There's some really shitty wrestling out there. There has to be like an over person or team that just had the world's worst finish, and
That's
Bushwhackers
your
might be
homework.
one of them. Yeah.
That's your homework. There you go. Awesome, man.
Ortiz, you're the man. We're rooting for you in 2024.
Fuck yeah.
We're always rooting for you, man. So, when you start hitting the ground running and you're crushing everything, we'll be in your corner.
Hell yeah, I appreciate it, fellas. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a happy New Year. And the Goon says, have a great 2024.
Thank you, Goon. Thank you, fellas. Happy New Year.
Same to you,
Peace,
brother.
man.
Be well. Thanks for joining us again, man.
Later.
Thank you.